Money!
That's it. That's the reason. It's cheap to make. Thanks for watching. Wait a minute, there's still insert amount of time left in the video here. It can't be that simple, can it? Well, going back all the way to the first cartoon in, oh geez, 1908? Mountain Dew hasn't even been invented yet. Okay, never mind that. Going back to the 20th century wave of adult-oriented cartoons, it was not how it is right now at all. We have stuff like Betty Boop and Furry Fun Time the movie, and even Warner Brothers cartoons meant for an adult audience. But everything paled in comparison to when they came towards the later end of the century. No animation ever really captured the attention of the nation like The Simpsons. It was a cultural reset and launched adult animation into the mainstream. The first season was Fox's first TV series to break into the top 30 highest rated shows, even winning an Emmy, and over the next decade, other similar shows would break out into the norm. Shows like King of the Hill and South Park, followed by Futurama and Family Guy. A new genre of television was established, the Oz, adult animated sitcom. Each of these shows in this era had its own respective style with a unique cast of characters and situations combined with strong writing teams that made them the successes that they are. Now skipping ahead to today, a lot of adult animation is just, So what happened? Why is this our reality? How did we get stuck with the absolute worst looking things that have ever existed? By comparison, that 1972 furry movie looks like a piece of art. By the way, for the sake of research, I tried to watch a bit of that, but I just couldn't do it. It's graphic and everything that Cats 2019 wanted to be. But basically what happened is that sort of style worked out for a lot of the first ones, so it was replicated and made worse. There was a certain visual formula that worked, and those that followed that formula are the ones that got invested in. Meanwhile, the hidden gems that diverted from that, they were tossed aside for safer options. Just by looking at these, you know they're meant for adults. Like a frat boy with generational wealth, they reek of raunchy humor. I've also seen the argument made that that's part of the joke, like it's so bad that it's good. No? Ugly and bland looking shows are the norm because it's more acceptable for their demographic. Like, this obviously isn't some dumb sponge baby cartoon for babies, so it's okay for me, an adult that pays taxes and resents his wife and has heartburn. It's okay for me to watch. I guess it also signals to kids that, hey, but this? Nah, you don't want this, you want this. Speaking as a former child who randomly woke up in the middle of the night and went to watch Cartoon Network only to be absolutely traumatized by the Robot Chicken intro, it sort of worked. But this speaks to a bigger issue that studios don't want to take on too much risk because there's still a stigma that cartoons are strictly for kids. I once told somebody, who wasn't even like an adult, they were in college by the way, that I was gonna watch Mulan with some friends, and their reaction was just, ugh, what? You're gonna watch a cartoon made for children? Ugh. Take for example, Spider-Verse, an absolutely visually appealing and fun concept that's celebrated by all and even won an Oscar aside from other awards, but out of all the Spider-Man movies, it's made the least amount of money, coming in at a little more than half of what The Amazing Spider-Man 2 got. And that's the same movie that brought us this. And that's what it all comes down to.
Money!
Why take a risk when this other way of doing things is proven to bring in the big bucks? And while you're making money, might as well save some, right? In terms of animation, it's really cheap for everyone to stand still until it's their turn to talk and move their hand up. And for emotional scenes that consist of the characters taking their time to smile, tilting their heads while the camera zooms in. That's how it is in the West, but let's take a look at how Japan treats adult animation. Wait, no, wrong one, wrong file, not that one. There we go. Animation is much more accepted there, and it's very common for it to be advertised absolutely everywhere, even with huge promotional public makeovers, like a train going through its sword art phase. And in terms of anime costs, it tends to pay off for them. Family Guy averages at about $2 million per episode. That's right, it took $2 million to rip in peace Brian and another $2 million to bring him back right after. Meanwhile, one popular anime episode can roughly cost between $120,000 and $180,000 USD. That's a fraction of the cost it took to make this. Even the most expensive anime episodes ever, from Death Note coming in at $1 million each episode, is only half of Peter's episode budget. So the money is out there for great animation. But again, Western studios just don't want to take that risk. A reason animation is so popular in Japan is because it respects the audience enough to not talk down to them, be it with toilet humor or with eye bleach inducing frames. That's also why they have an audience outside of Japan. It's also generally treated as an experience. You watch it and wait every week for the next episode and interact with fans online and make memes. Imagine what the world would be like if we did that, but for American Dad. They have so many different types of mature animation, tackling a wide range of genres. It's also kind of weird how out here in the West, while aimed at a younger audience, children's animations are the ones that are bringing up a discussion about quote-unquote mature topics, while the adult animations would probably just make them the butt of a joke. Why are most adult animations comedies anyway? Not to discredit the actual funny writing teams behind the best shows, but as the studios see it, it's a lot faster and cheaper telling jokes than it would be experimenting on art styles and putting actual effort caring about the characters and the story. When an animated show only becomes a vehicle for jokes, they better be really darn good if that's their whole entire reason for existence. And it honestly is such a waste when it happens. Animation is an absolutely amazing medium that quite literally has unlimited potential. When used correctly, it can bring out amazing character development, in-depth lore, and breathtaking scenes. Shows that are aimed at a younger demographic have all that. That's why they're so popular amongst adults as well. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. F them kids. We deserve that too. We deserve better looking animation. Arcane is an exemplary example of adult animation done right. It has an outstanding story, memorable characters, fantastic world building, and so much more. But I unfortunately don't think it would have been the sensation that it became if it wasn't based on a massive game like League of Legends. And that's coming from someone who knows next to nothing about League. I initially didn't plan on watching until I saw all the praise it was getting, and that you didn't have to know anything about the game to enjoy it. If it wasn't for the League name, if you swap out the characters and the world but keep all the fundamentals of it, I don't think it would have gotten as much hype as it did, let alone the massive funding behind it in the first place. Now don't get me wrong, it could have still turned out amazing, but only reached an audience a fraction of what it got. But I have hope. Hope for the future. With shows like Arcane, Rick and Morty, Inside Job, Close Enough, and many more great adult cartoons out there. Okay, so how do we fix this? What we can do right now to move this industry in the right direction is simply watch shows like these. Talk about them on Twitter, make memes, suggest your favorites down below in the comments. And all in all, just show our support for the type of content that we want to see more of. Studios notice that. They have been noticing that. And that's how we as a society can avoid more of this. Thanks for watching.